All right, guys, welcome to this. Oh, and we already lost one. I was trying to say welcome to the creature feature. Today's little feature is the Gargoyle Geckos. I'm actually going to do another two-parter with the Crested Geckos because they're very, very similar. This one's going to jump again. Yeah, maybe we'll just put that one back in its enclosure. Gargoyles, I personally like a little bit more than the Crested Geckos as far as a beginner pet because they tend to be a little bit more calm even right out of the egg as a baby, and their setup is really very easy. Let's look at a baby though here. This is actually from my friends at Winnipeg Reptiles. This is a fresh one. This is just born February 22nd, so not even a month old yet. And I'll show you just how small they are. And I hope this one doesn't prove me wrong that they're really calm as babies because they typically are a little bit better. Look how tiny that one is. Oh, and it's gorgeous too. So here, I'm just gonna try and scoop them up gently. See? Look at that. Now, if this was a baby Crested Gecko, and I've got two that we'll look at in a moment or two here, the Crested Gecko would be ping, ping, ping all over the place, but these guys are generally a little bit calmer. They get a little bit larger than the Crested Geckos, but they do need a little bit more protein, so that would be bugs. While the Crested Geckos like protein as a treat, they don't require it as much as the Gargoyle Geckos, but now with some of the new foods that include insect, like our Pangea mix here, you really don't need to worry about it if you don't want to deal with the bugs and chirping and whatnot. From a setup standpoint, I mean, this is really all you need for a baby. For the first couple months, you can pick up one of these little critter keepers at Winnipeg Reptiles, paper towel on the bottom, fake plant, which you can get there as well, and then all you do, mix up a little food every 2 to 3 days. Now, the one thing people always are concerned with is my gecko's not eating. Anytime someone adopts one of these or calls us because they got one from a breeder, it's not eating. First thing I ask is there poop? Well, they're like, yeah. Well, if there's poop, it's got to be eating. These guys eat nectars and sap and sweet fruits and things like that in the wild, so they're not eating a lot. So honestly, a pop bottle cap, half full, they're going to lick it up just a little bit there, and you're not even probably going to notice. When we have a bunch of geckos, you can clean out a bowl pretty quick. For a larger setup, you can sort of gradually move them up from the little critter keeper to a nice Exoterra. Now, most Exoterra tanks are double split, but with this smaller nano unit, it's actually just a single door. So obviously you want to add some decor like your fake plant and some vines. You can get up into the larger. Now this is about the minimum I would put an adult Gargoyle Gecko in. This is the 12 by 12 by 18 tall. This is the Zoom Ed, so it's a single door. Exoterra makes them as well in the double door. But really, they are a bit bigger of a gecko and they're fairly active, so I would try to keep them in a 18 by 18 by 24 tall if you can, if you have the space, it's a little bit better. This one that they're in right now is an 18 by 36 by 24 tall, I believe. And what we've done is added a whole bunch of hiding spots, multiple levels, so that they're all calm, confident, and we don't have to worry about fighting. There's one male in here and the rest are all females, and they are producing. You can see someone's been digging a little hole. Often we find the eggs in here and we set them up. And the nice thing is with Gargoyle Geckos, like Crested Geckos, they don't need any heat and any light. Now we have the light on here. This is just visual light simply to brighten it up so people can see them. It's not just a dark tank. But being nocturnal, they're typically active at night and they don't need any of that UVA, UVB, so you can skip all that light. And they don't need any heat. Room temperature, like low 70s, is perfectly fine. If you start getting into the mid 80s, these things will start to not do so well, like 85 and they'll die. So you want to keep them a little bit on the cooler side. But biggest thing with them is humidity. Unlike the leopard gecko that likes it nice and dry, these guys were misting once or twice a day. They do make automated misting systems, from fairly affordable to some pretty fancy high-tech ones as well that can get it all misted for you regularly. And you can also get a dripper. So let's say you're going away from Saturday to Sunday, or just even a long weekend Monday. If you fed them before you left, get a little dripper that's dropping water into, like just from a pop bottle into their water dish. That'll be fine to keep them going. When we mix up their food, I'll show you here. It's kind of like pudding powder, essentially. It's just, can you get a little look in there? So powder smells really fruity and lovely. And I mean, they notice when I put it in there, like they all look as soon as the dish goes in and they poof, start to go to it. So we fill up a little dish. The nice thing is with these ledges, they're magnetic. So they just bang right onto the side, put your food in, take it out to wash, put it back. For the substrate, again, we're using our cocoa fiber because they're misting. We don't want it to get moldy. So this holds the mold, or not the mold, but it holds the moisture and dries out fairly quickly without too many issues. And then for the plants too, you can get really fancy or pretty basic. I mean, this is just your plastic pan. These ones are a little bit nicer because they use the magnets. You can use them to go from different spots, and even some of these little guys here work out pretty well. So that's how we have our gargoyles set up. I'll show you how we got the cresty set up here in just one moment.